Here's my basis for a good movie. When you have to watch it in a certain way, or it's not good, there's something wrong with the story. Because like everyone said, like The Matrix, I saw in the theater, and I'm like, wow, that was really cool.
Right.
Then it came on TV, and I watched it. I'm like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh, come on.
It's not good. It's not good on regular
It's like
TV.
Alex
No,
Jones
it's not.
today.
It's
With
so
these things
good.
you're saying, you're like,
It's
what's
not good on regular.
gaslighting us, Dave, over and over again.
I'm
Is that your
saying-
2023
Matrix is
thing?
so
You're
good.
a gaslighter.
What I'm saying is The Matrix
What
is
the
not.
fuck?
It's not as good.
Matrix 1 is incredible. The
No, it's
concept
not.
is
It's not.
incredible.
Better.
No.
It's
The
better on a
concept
big
is
screen.
incredible.
The
Yeah.
same stuff happened to a buddy of mine. They ripped it off from his life story. That
Yeah.
Matrix.
He was the chosen one.
Yeah,
Literally,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FTS podcast, Friends Talking Shop. Happy New Year. It's 2023, and we are now in season 2
Season 2.
of Friends Talking Shop. You've made it through season 1. That was just the beginning. I bet you we're a lot like Seinfeld, where season 1 was getting its legs underneath it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
pretty good. When you got to season 2, season 3, it was
Took off.
just excellent. So I'm pretty sure FTS is going to be the exact same way.
We're hitting our stride, Dave.
All right, that's good. That's good. I can feel it. Omar, are you feeling it?
asymmetry is the word this year. Asymmetry.
All right.
All right. Okay.
All right.
That's
That's
that Tourette's is acting up a little bit. I think.
yeah. Are you with us on this podcast?
Yeah.
No, you know what asymmetric returns are?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we have limited capacity of getting worse. It was just so fucking bad last year. And I think we have a lot of upside for this being really incredibly one orders of magnitude better this year.
That's
So
all right,
That's
well,
called asymmetry.
In a less positive way, you said it can't get much worse, is what you're saying.
and we're due for a real shoot up.
Listen, season 1 we got featured in a magazine.
Yeah. What's
How
next?
much? What do you think? What's
David,
next?
David, I don't look. That was amazing, but I know one of your rooms now is officially lined with that magazine, this magazine article.
Yes.
But that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for when we're ranked on next to Kara Swisher and Joe Rogan. And
There you go.
all
There you
right,
go.
well,
There you
all
go.
right. Well, that's so Omar set the
So,
bar for season.
there's
I just want the
There's-
E True Hollywood story.
there are two schools of thought around Adler has who's the Austrian psychologist, about what drives human beings. One of them is we strive for superiority. We want to be very good at things, all of us individually. And the other thing is that we have feelings of inferiority. In other words, even if you're like a successful chef and you have a great dish in a restaurant, you're like, I can be better. I can make something even better than this. And that, if handled properly, those actually can be both additive in a positive way for each of us. So that's how I think about it.
Oh.
David, again, your life is based on complacency, right? And so mine isn't. But that's why this works.
I see. Well,
Boy, way to
Well,
fire off 2023.
people, that aren't privy to what we talk about before the podcast starts. This is
There you go.
insult number 5.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where season 2 might be just. It was busting chops in season 1. It is slitting throats in season 2.
Yes, it
Right?
sounds that
We're
way.
stepping it up.
By the way, speaking of Josh, do you think David? He looks like he's come out of like the
Yeah.
movie like The Side or
the-
something. His face.
It's the
It's
light.
He has
can't
quite a
what's
bright
going
light
on.
on him.
Yeah,
It's quite a bright light.
it's crazy. Well,
He's angelic, Omar. He's angelic.
He's like Guantanamo Bay. I feel like we're gonna start asking him.
You can't see this, but I have a very, very large monitor, and I have Google Docs up. It's all white, and it's reflecting. My camera stinks, so I need to. Anyway, well, after all that, I'm your host, Dave. Really looking forward to our asymmetrical season 2.
Yes.
I was doing fine. I was looking forward to 2023, but apparently I'm complacent and I shoot too many bullets in my recommendations. So anyway, we'll get to that. Second host is Josh. Josh, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing all right. I'm good. I'm doing well. It's you know what? These changing years don't really affect me like they used to. I used to, sit and reminisce about the year that passed and all that other stuff. And now I'm kind of like, all right, it's just another day. And I don't know if that's my whole basis, because I know we talked about in the holiday episodes about being festive and stepping it up. And I'm kind of just an even keel guy through the whole year, regardless of what's happening.
We are becoming Seinfeld. You're Jerry.
I'll tell you what, though. This is the type of stuff you talk about asymmetric. What upsets you? So last night, because we didn't have work today. We had off, which was very nice. So when that happens, I tend to try to stay up later to watch, just I like to lie in bed and watch TV. And
No.
Too much information, Josh.
there was 30 for 30 on ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah, great show, right?
Yeah,
You're like 30 for 30. I've never seen a bad one. Well, they had one on that was on Jeanette Lee. I was flipping through and I saw 30 for 30 is about to start. And it was Jeanette Lee. I'm like, who the hell is Jeanette Lee?
Player?
Yes. She's the
Black Widow.
The Black Widow Poopa. So I'm like, if they're making a 30 for 30 about a female billiards player, this story has to be ridiculously good. Because otherwise, what are they doing? And I watched it, and I got to tell you, awful. It was completely boring. It was boring.
Really?
It was ridiculous. I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on. And then I started to think, why? She competed in women's billiards.
Yeah.
Why are we separating men and women with billiards? Why is there a women's league and a men's league with billiards? There's no advantage there.
That's actually an interesting question. Which sport is there the smallest spread, if any, at all?
Billiards,
bowling.
I think billiards has to be up there.
Yeah, billiards, bowling, darts. Why are we separating these? Curling?
Is that true though? But are male dartists and poolists and whatever billiardists?
Okay, so that's a great question. So then I thought about it, and I'm thinking the only reason that why we separate the certain sports with men's leagues and women's leagues, obviously because of strength.
Title IX.
And well, but there's a strength. Obviously, there's a strength factor and a physical factor, and that's why even golf. There's a women's tees and a men's tees because of the distance to the green and to the hole, and so I get all that. But I'm watching this documentary, and I said the same thing you just said, Omar. But then they show a clip of her playing 9-ball, and she starts and she runs like 4 racks in a row without the other opponent even getting up out of her chair. She didn't even get to shoot a ball, and she just ran. Can't you do that against a dude? Couldn't she do that against the man? And what would be the difference if you can run the table?
Because women play men in poker.
They do. That's right, but they don't in billiards. It is separate. There's a women's league and a men's league.
They get too emotional. That's why.
Oh my God!
Here comes the viewer mail.
Jesus Christ!
No. That's how we get the mail in. Right there. We got to have more controversial.
Well, I'm living up to my flyover state status here.
Yeah,
David. If I don't earn it, I got to earn it. Then
more dangerous. David Erickson is good for the show. It's good for the show.
Hey, there's your complacency right there, Omar.
Yeah, right.
Stick
that
your complacency. Anyway, so I was up watching that, and that was a complete waste of time. I don't know why they made that 30 for 30.
Okay. Huh. All right. So you're doing well. That's good.
I'm doing well. Yes.
All right. Thank you. And we learned a little bit more about you. You was your wife mind you watching 30 for 30, or is she? What does she do during this? You're in separate beds now?
Yeah, not yet. It was like 1 a.m, and she was kind of half sleeping, but then she woke up. She's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "It's about this billiards woman, this Black Widow. It's it seems like there's got to be something there." So she started watching. Ironically, I fell asleep before the end, and she stayed up and watched it. And I said to her this morning, I'm like, "Why did they even make that? That didn't?" And she goes, "Well, you missed it. That she had cancer and blah blah blah, and she divorced her husband, had 5 kids." I'm like, "Well, that still doesn't." Okay.
Wait a minute. So you're judging the show and you didn't finish it. Like it could have
because it was twist Dave, it's an hour show. I watched like 40 minutes and it was like, I don't understand. This is not a story. I mean, it's great.
There's no way that he stays for half of Avatar 2. It's like not even a story, and it's 3 hours long.
Yeah, I take it back.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I take it back.
If that's your metric, Josh.
Hey, if they're playing billiards in Avatar 2, you're right.
Yeah. There might be a Black Widow.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a kind of fish.
Anyway,
we have one more host who insults the most, Omar. Omar, how are you doing?
Oh, I like that. The host who insults the mostest.
Yeah,
that's not what he said. He didn't do S.
You ruined it.
He didn't do the S.
If he said hostess who insults the mostest, that would have been better.
I have a brilliant business idea, and I wanted to tell you guys about it.
Ooh.
All right.
It won't be, so it's not my topic, but I'm riding high from one of these reasons. So
is this better than your 1 hour Martinizing idea?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a very good one. So, I often forget my leash for Lou or for Miles when I'm taking them for walks. I use like an Apple charge wire, like one of these things.
But people can't see that.
It's a
you mean
it's a white
it's a
another
cord
white
for
cord.
your phone that charges
yeah,
your
charge
phone.
your phone. And I tie it around Miles' collar and I hold it, and that's his leash, And I had this idea. I'm like, oh my God, why don't I make an actual dog leash that looks like a charger wire, but it actually still functions as a charger wire and is actually a dog lead? And the name of the company, ready?
Yeah.
Rottwire.
Yeah.
Not Rottweiler.
Yeah, I get it.
Rottwire.
There's so many problems with this idea.
Yeah, and then the other name could be Rough Wire, but RUFF.
Yeah, rough.
As in rough.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just make it look like a dog leash that also charges your phone? Why do you have to make it look like an Apple charger? Why?
Yeah.
Because
that's
cooler.
Also a bad idea.
Because it's an improvement. Why would you want to make it look like an Apple charger wire? That makes
sense. It's funny. It's ironic. It's like
not funny at all.
It makes
it makes you look like you don't care for your animal. Like you're just he's an afterthought, and you just tied this cord because that's all you had, and then it's not retractable. And then what are you going to do? What's the handle?
No. Look. See, this is again lack of vision. If you can, the next generation of this product, the dog walking will charge the wire, so your dog will be able to charge your phone as you're walking.
So your dog is a gerbil in a wheel.
You're making some use of the kinetic energy generated by taking them for a walk.
You'd have to take them for a pretty long walk.
I already have Elon Musk on. I already tweeted him about this idea.
Oh, so the dog is generating the energy that charges your phone as well.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Well, yes.
That's an option. Yeah. Not a small tweak.
This is a horrible idea on so many levels.
Anyway, I'm bursting with creativity. So this is my year that I'm going to embrace failure a little bit more aggressively.
Yep. I'm looking forward to hearing it every step of the way. Well, that's what season 2 is going to really be all about.
Rottwire. Look for it in the CVS's.
Yeah, the name is clever. The product sucks.
All right. Well, let's kick off the episode. If you're not familiar with what we were doing in season 1, season 2 is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be
no change.
Our creativity didn't reach all the way up to the podcast. But what we do is we each come up with a topic that we have not rehearsed ahead of time, and we throw it out for each other to comment on. And you'll catch on quickly.
Should we do like, hey, how was your year kind of thing?
Well,
just to talk about it.
Yeah, I was going to do that next before we jump into our topics. It is the new year. It's January 2nd, 2023, and we talked a little bit about reflecting on 2022, having goals for 2023. People do resolutions and things like that. Before we get into our topics, I'm kind of curious how you guys kind of think about New Year's and like you become reflective and things like that. So, Omar, you had a few comments on this. What are your thoughts around this time of year?
I think that sometimes we're forced to do things against our will. Like, you guys know that because you're both married, and you realize when you're actually doing the act or experiencing, like, wow, I'm actually really happy that I did this. I didn't really want to do it. And so, as I'm not one for reflection on a organized basis, I think I don't know, I sort of rebel against it in many ways, but the end of the year forces one to think about the year. Even just within, having an introspective sort of internal conversation. So I actually like it a lot.
You do?
Yeah. I do.
What about, do you look forward, or do you set goals for yourself?
For myself, no, I don't.
How about for us? For other people?
I set goals for myself. Like,
that's what he just asked you.
No. I'm sorry. In terms of each moment, just sort of being aware of each moment and each day and trying to do my best every day.
That's a goal every year, all the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no one ever does that. This is the old I'm gonna live life to the fullest. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm gonna do this and that. And no one does it.
I'm doing two things though. I'm gonna learn how to surf this year. Okay. Because I live on top of a surf break, and I'm gonna make progress in learning Spanish. So I'm gonna do those two things. I guess those are two goals.
Yeah, that would count.
Those are goals. That's fair.
That's good. Yeah. Josh, what about you? What do you think about New Year's and everything that goes along with it?
This is kind of like, I just don't. I think I kind of used to be in that mindset, and for the last I don't know how many years, it just flows to the next day for me. It just lacks all significance. I mean, we were watching a movie. My wife and I had a nice time, just the two of us. The kids were out at parties for New Year's Eve.
Is
And
she your best friend?
He's got to say yes now.
yeah.
We're recording.
I have to. This is now recorded. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Good
well,
for you.
we had a nice night together, and it was very nice. The kids were out, and we watched a movie, and we timed it very badly because we put on a movie, and didn't realize that it was going to go over midnight. And we watched Top Gun, Dave, the movie you recommended, and it was
everyone recommended.
Thank you.
Yes, but it was in the final scene, and my wife goes, "Oh my God, it's 2 minutes to midnight. Do you want to switch to the ball drop?" And without hesitation, I went, "No, I don't want to stop this movie."
Tom Cruise looking at us right now.
Yeah, I don't want to. But it was also in like the about to hit the climax, and it was going to be an awesome ending, or I thought it was. It wasn't. It was very predictable. But that's not the point. It was just in a very intricate scene, and it was very exciting. And I'm like, no, I don't want to stop the movie and go to Seacrest, bantering for 30 seconds before the ball gets down and go, yeah, Happy New Year. And we didn't stop the movie.
That's very parade and Christmas card like is the New Year's Eve celebration.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
Yes, I'm on brand. I'm very consistent. And the bottom line was, I didn't even think about twice. I didn't go, ooh, we really should watch the ball drop. And I think all the years that we did watch the ball drop, which we do most years, it's just because we're kind of like, mentally trained to do that. We just go, ooh, we have to watch the ball drop. And it's just so anticlimactic every time.
Yeah. Well, for me, I love New Year's. I love the resolutions. I love the reflection. I'm super nostalgic. Yeah. So
wow.
I'm off the charts the opposite way. One thing that my son would do that was super cool is he would find out like we'd watch Star Wars and you start it at the right time and at midnight when the Death Star blows up right at midnight. So, or you could do it with Endgame where the snap of the fingers is on midnight. Yep. So we've done that a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, and I think that's
cute.
So you have it running in the background, and you're like, all right, we're getting ready, and their X-wing fighters are coming in there, and better than a ball dropping is the Death Star exploding.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely better than a ball drop.
But I make resolutions. This is now my 15th year in a row. I'm having a resolution to eat better and exercise more.
Do you write them down? Do you make formal resolutions, or it's more just a proclamation? It's just a.
This year was interesting though, and I don't know if this would be my topic. I thought about it, but this year was kind of hard to rally around the resolutions. Like a lot of times I'll super organize myself because you get a lot of days off around the Christmas and New Year's holiday.
Yeah.
And then when you're kind of coming back, you're like, okay, I'm ready, I'm rested. Like you get into this like organization mode. And I noticed this year, the motivation just wasn't there. And I wondered if it had something to do with the COVID sort of, we had two years of like COVID disrupted. Last year was a little bit of back to normal.
Yeah.
And like, we're still kind of dealing with nothing is normal yet. And so, I don't know if that affected it, but I had a hard time motivating myself to actually other than the exercise and eating better and all that stuff, I had a hard time generating the goals that I would have had in previous years. So I kind of
are those your goals every year? Are they repeatable goals, or do you actually change them?
Yeah, because I don't hit my eating well and exercise
See,
more. So
that's my point. Everyone says this stuff and no one ever follows through.
Well, yeah, but you got to, when you stop trying, then who knows what's going to happen.
But my thing is I have goals like that too for myself. I just don't make them at a set point in time. I'm always I almost do it weekly. I'm like, well, I should have exercised on Wednesday and I didn't. I slept in. So now this week I'm going to do it an extra day, and then I do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I do that too, but I think the annual, the New Year's goals, those are big ones. Those are you go join a gym. You don't just I'm gonna get in that treadmill. You actually write down a list of books you're gonna read. You actually really make an effort. I just had a hard time this year for some reason.
Interesting. So, and I noticed the nostalgia thing you brought back. I don't think it's I just started thinking about this. It's not that I'm not nostalgic, because one of the shows I was watching on New Year's because they had I think it was CNN that was running a whole thing on the 80s. I don't know if you saw that anytime. They had it might have been like 20 episodes in a row of the 80s, and one of them was like the 80s top 10 gadgets. And I'm like, I love watching that stuff because I'm watching like, oh yeah, I remember that. They talked about like, like the first cell phone and then the Sony Walkman and then that it was like
Teddy
neat. So,
Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin was top toys, so that was a different episode. The top 10 toys. I just don't have this. I don't have much nostalgia for just the year, just the previous year. I mean, I do more for sports, but not for really anything else. I mean, we were talking about like I don't have much of a mind for that. Someone said like James Caan. I'm like, oh yeah, he died 5 years ago. Turns out he just died like last
2022. Year. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but I didn't. I don't. For some reason, I thought it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't you ever think that you get like a factoid like that? You go, that would happen a while ago, and it didn't.
Well, COVID. Do it all the time because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID.
Like all my timelines are screwed up. But don't you ask yourself, like, was 2022 a good year? How would you answer that question? Was 2022 a good year for you guys?
Yeah, it was fine.
I mean, if you could describe it, fine. How would you well, if you had to put a word to it, Omar?
Well, I want to dive more to Josh. You're just you're like a bland milkshake.
No, I'm not. I think I'm just very
fine. Is every year is fine for you?
No, not every year is fine.
Was fine.
Look, there's certain years that are just not. They just don't.
2022 is just fine for you.
It was fine. It was good. It was fine. It was fine. It was a nice year. Nothing horrible happened, so that's good. I mean, not nothing horrible. There were some bad things that you definitely forget about. But
kick the podcast off. That was a my daughter. My daughter got married.
Yeah, your daughter got married.
That was a biggie.
There you go.
But I would say it was a roller coaster year. It was like the markets did terrible. Like it was a stressful year from a work perspective.
That's true.
So there was some highs and some real lows. I thought I was kind of ready to get rid of 22 actually.
Do you think that one of the, how there's most improved player of the year in sports,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I created a new category which is most improved relationship of the year. So in other words, someone you've known for a long time, but then maybe in 2022, you, because of whatever circumstances, you became very close to them. Like for me, there's a guy named Mike, who I've become very close to.
Mike?
Well, no.
Gotta be careful what you say.
He's a DJ, Mike. But yeah, anyway, my point is that I don't know if the three of us have gotten closer. I feel like
I was going to say, Omar, maybe you be my relationship because think of all the times we got to talk this year.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
But it just, I don't know. Do you guys feel that you're closer with me doing this podcast than we were before we did the podcast?
I think I'm at an appropriate distance.
You're not kidding.
Well,
I'd answer yes. I feel like I met your father. I met your sister. I've been on a magazine with you.
Well, I mean, meeting my sister and my friends, that was independent of this. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because I do think that I've talked to you guys about, I've talked to you about this before in the past, where I feel like I miss parts of our interactions in the normal days a little bit.
Yeah. I hear you.
It's true. Yeah. I do. It doesn't mean that this isn't amazing because it is. It's really fun.
Yeah. 2022 is the birth of the FTS. So you gotta mark that in the book.
That's lots of
highs. So it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Josh it's like talking to a 3-year-old.
It's not talking to a 3-year-old. I'm a tempered fella.
Yeah. Well, you need some tragedy in your life. Maybe
no, I don't. I don't want that.
I did think, what? We're all here. We're all healthy. Like I did, there's a little bit of like we made it through another 12 months of no one having. So, 1 year at a time that way. So yeah, I guess
that's right.
Way was
that's
good.
right.
That's 2022 was a year that I think that, humility aside for a second, I think if I could be a legitimate cult leader. I think I have the qualities to be a cult leader.
Yeah.
That's one thing I realized in 2022.
Yeah, sort of. You need to be more convincing. A cult leader would have had me on board with Rotwire.
No, I'm talking about LW3. About that event.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's a big. That's a big
accomplishment
for
you.
I don't have that similar. I think a work accomplishment.
No, you'd be a solid number 3 at a cult, Dave.
Oh, I take that.
Yeah, you would like run activities. You maybe control the cafeteria.
That would
Right.
be fantastic. I'd love to.
Cult dietitian.
I do the escape room planning for the cult. Yeah.
Hey,
that's-
Jack, we did an escape room the other day. My family. It was a lot of
Did
fun.
you?
And I told my family, I'm like, oh, Dave loves these things.
Oh, just love them. Just
Yeah.
love 'em.
It was fun.
I had to write down something about myself that's different and interesting. I said I've done over 100 escape rooms. I think that's.
Have you done over 100?
I think I've done. I think I've easily done over 100 escape
Are
rooms.
you good at
Wow.
them?
Yeah, I'm really good at. 'em.
He is now.
Yeah, I get out.
There's nothing like an escape room to make you feel like an idiot, by the way.
I've never done one before.
Oh, they're fun. They
What?
are a
Oh,
good
man.
time. They're a good time.
I don't think I'd be very good at it. Same reason I'm not good at Scrabble.
Yeah.
My
Yeah, they're
brain
two
doesn't.
different things.
Well, my brain doesn't work like in puzzles well. It just doesn't.
Well, there's a lot of puzzles.
You're not a step-by-step guy. You're more of a kind of
Yeah.
fire in different directions all at once. Yeah. You sort of need to know this key goes with this lock.
Yeah.
You might. I don't know if that's your. All right. Well, let's.
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
told my team that I was going to write an annual letter. I talked to you guys about this.
Yes.
And I go, I'm doing it tomorrow. I'm going to do it. I can focus. I can do it. I'm going to do it. And I didn't even do it.
Didn't do it.
I didn't even start it.
Have the Chat GBT do it for you. You guys been playing with that?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know how to quite work that yet. You got to show me, Dave. I've
All
tried to
right.
go to the website and stuff. And
Next episode, I'm gonna use that for you because I went on it and did write me a haiku about the Packers losing the Super Bowl in 2025 or something, and it
Yeah,
does.
And it does. It's AI for people
incredible.
listening. It's an AI program.
Yeah.
You put in a topic or a series of ideas, and then it writes literally a piece for you.
Yeah, it can write. You could say create an email for me telling my friend Bob that I can't make lunch because I'm busy with washing my hair, and it'll just, hi Bob, how are you?
It's amazing.
It's
It's very
so
cool.
I think if you just do Google Chat GBT and you'll eventually find it, but you might have to sign up for it. But hey,
Yeah.
let's kick off the episode.
Let's do it.
Who wants to go first this week? Omar, you said you had 7 topics. How about you want to kick us off 2023?
Choose one.
okay. Do you guys want?
No, we want you to choose it.
Okay. All right, fine. This is kind of like I think it's interesting. I don't know. It's certainly something I've been thinking about recently, especially because I got to talk to sort of the team that works with me. And I talk a lot about things I do, especially that event I just alluded to, LW3, which was in October. My point is, I feel like when I talk a lot about what I do for a living, I'm trying to do, I always qualify everything I ever say, every time I say anything. If I say something like what we're doing, no one else has ever done before, and I would say, but of course I have to say that because, maybe that's true, maybe it isn't, but it's certainly very different. Or I'll say something like, the event was an incredible success, but, that's from the data points that we've gotten. It may not be that great, but again, I'm biased. And I say to my team stuff like, it doesn't
You're
matter
hedging
what
everything. You're
I hedge
hedging
everything.
everything.
Because whenever anybody says something to me with any kind of superlatives, I just don't believe them. I just I have PTSD from me hearing it, right? When everybody says it, like I'm the best, I'm like, okay. I'm like, really? So I do it every time, and I'm like, do I need to keep on doing that? Because I feel like it's tired. People get tired of hearing it, or I certainly get tired of saying it sometimes because it's just so like. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think I should continue qualifying because it does make me more grounded?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And it's similar, but maybe a little bit different. But like,
Dave, you missed the joke. You said he was more grounded. You just went right over that. Did you hear that part where he said he was more grounded?
No, when I say it, it makes it more. I want to be more sincere. I don't want to be like some guy preaching on a pet. I made it alluded to being the cult leader thing, but like I don't want to be that guy. It's disgusting.
More grounded. He didn't say he's grounded.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
More
it's relative.
It's either one of two things, Omar. It's either one, you don't want to be viewed like these phony, fake people out there that are constantly just throwing out like,
which you
this
hate.
Is which you
can't stand
hate.
it.
Or it's maybe it's a confidence thing where you don't honestly believe that you're the best or that what you're doing is amazing. I don't know. I think it's more the former than the latter. That's my guess. Is that you
Maybe
just
I should ask them what they think if they're tired of me qualifying everything to them.
Yeah, but there's certain things should be qualified, but some things don't need
I
to
qualify
be.
everything. Everything
Yeah.
is good I say about our firm and what we've done or whatever, or even on the negative side, I'll qualify. I always qualify
If
stuff.
there's something that you generally feel doesn't need qualification and you're only doing it you just because you want to temper your image, then you shouldn't do it. But if something generally needs qualification because you want to paint an accurate picture, then you should do it. But I wouldn't qualify everything, and I wouldn't go gung ho superlative on everything too.
So I'm doing my annual
there's a happy
review and
medium.
Outlook Zoom meeting next week, and like there's
Yeah.
a lot of freaking qualifiers in there, and I'm like, oh, I gotta take some of these things out.
You actually wrote them in, or they're
Yeah,
not winged?
yeah, I wrote them
They're
in.
not,
It's on to be
they're not off the cuff.
But these are intended for your employees.
It's an internal call.
Oh, it's internal. It doesn't matter.
Well, but it feels like why are you feeling the need? Do you want them to stay humble? Like, is maybe there's
Right.
an element of that?
I don't. I a lot of what I say is us being humble, so I don't think that's necessarily. And there's not a gray area for them there around thinking about that or ever feeling that way. That would be really the antithesis of what we try and do. So not that as much as, no, it's more so when I talk about what I do, like when you guys, like you, I'm sure your job now, but like when I was an employee years ago and I go to any meetings, any organized meetings for work, they were always nonsense. I'm like, what am I doing here? Such a waste. What are you guys talking about?
There's a phoniness to certain things, but
because I have that sensitivity, I'm like, I practically address it.
Yeah, you're going out of your way to not come off
right
in that manner.
Right,
it's fine.
But I think it's like
qualifying is fine.
But you're qualifying it because of the behavior of other people.
Yeah.
Like other experiences. It's not your experience. It's, you don't want to act like so-and-so who is all they say is good stuff. You don't want to be like your job that you have.
Again, I'm not equating, but the Steve Jobs, right? Does Elon Musk, does
Hold on a second.
These great leaders, do they qualify when they talk to their people? Because every successful company is a cult. Actually, every successful small business is a cult in some ways. Right.
Yeah, but hold on.
So
there are people like
true leaders qualify when they talk to their team.
Yeah, but there are people who like Steve Jobs. When he talked I don't know what he was like internally, but when externally, I mean, it was superlative after superlative, but it was genuine and it was for the most part pretty damn accurate. So as long as it comes off as genuine and not phony, I don't think you need the qualifiers.
Well, I think it's not. It wouldn't be genuine because
Right?
if it was genuine, he wouldn't be doing it in the first place. So I think this is
No, that's
who
not
Omar
true.
is. I think
Hold on.
he's.
But Dave, you and I know a lot of people in this industry we talk to where there's plenty of people, and for the listeners, there are salespeople who call us constantly for business, and you get all kinds, and then there's the ones that are just, they call you and they're your best friend immediately. Hey, buddy, how you doing? I watched your Eagles. They looked pretty shitty, or they look great, or whatever. It's like every time the Eagles win, I get email after email from people I don't know or barely know that say, your Eagles look good. Your Eagles look good this weekend, and I'm going, what phoniness is this? I don't know.
Who is people calling you?
Is
it Yogi the Bear?
I get multiple. Yogi the Bear is a.
Hey, Joshua.
That was actually a pretty good Yogi.
It's a really good Yogi.
It's mostly the boo boos out there that are calling, not so much Yogi. Maybe it's Mike might be calling. But there's a phoniness there. It's like you could smell it a mile away.
Oh,
I think it's all about how genuine you are, and you're a genuine guy. So I would stick to what you actually believe and not qualify it if you don't need to qualify it.
What I wrote down for that are more so just like talking points. But I did write down to qualify.
And you said there were 6 more topics you could have gone with?
Listen, we can't start insulting our topics this
nothing
early.
Funny about this.
No.
You want the advice, but there's really nothing funny about this.
Well, it's not really interesting, actually. Now, is it? I thought maybe when I bought.
Good luck him not qualifying anything now.
I got no pushback on me putting myself in the same camp as Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. I thought that might be something, but you guys didn't. It just wasn't interesting enough.
I went right through that.
It was fine.
Yeah,
it was fine.
It was about as interesting as 30 for 30 on a women pool player.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what this was. I was very excited. You had 7 topics. You chose one. I went, wow, there's got to be something here, like the Black Widow.
Can I do a quick one then?
Nope.
Another quick one. Okay.
No. Why would
Alright.
we step in that bear trap twice?
Oh man. Slitting
Yeah.
throats. That's
Yeah.
the new episode.
You're like a chef that
mantra.
just made us a pile of dog shit.
all-
and
they-
went,
listen,
"Hey,
they
you didn't
all
like
can't
that.
be
Let me make you
winners."
something else. I don't want anything else to make it in that kitchen.
Well, Josh, I would say not. Listen, the good news about this is a topic wrapped up in 10 minutes, a mediocre topic. You've had mediocre topics go on for an hour.
Oh, there
A
you go.
podcast.
First of all,
So, there
mediocre,
at least there's
mediocre for me. Mediocre for me.
That's
Which
that's
is still
a
a
good
That's
point.
a
which is
that's a
still
good
solid
That's a
qualifier.
good point.
Yes,
That's called a positive qualifier right
that's
there.
right. That's right.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
I'll go,
let's get this back on track, Dave.
all right, I'll go next because I had something happen to me. It's been
There
a
we
while since we
go.
had our podcast, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on it. So I got selected for jury duty in
Oh,
December.
you're gonna so get chosen. You're one of those
So-
suckers who always gets chosen.
I do. This is well. The first time I went, showed up. I got called to the Q&A
Yeah.
that the attorneys do, and then they said, you know what, we're gonna have to kick this to tomorrow. And I walked up there and said, hey, do I have to stay? I've got something going on tomorrow. They're like, nah, I guess that's fine. I was like, it's that simple to get out of it?
Done. What kind of jury duty was this? Was this federal?
Well, you show up. They said we have different kinds of trials. It could be a civil case. They were actually looking for federal case. So
Interesting.
they said if that's true, that will be more than just a few days. That might be
Right.
weeks.
Oh
But
my
it wasn't.
God.
Now, I don't think you'd have been sequestered. They were sort of saying you might have to come back, but it might
yeah.
be over a period of 2 or 3 weeks. I was like, they said, and we are actually picking jurors for a federal case that's happening. I thought, oh man.
Yeah, that's the nightmare.
So, but I got out of my first one, but then I don't know, less than a year later, I got picked again. So they must have
They
must-
recycle you back.
they must
Yeah,
have
'cause
sent me right
it
back.
used to be where if you went and weren't picked or whatever, then you were out. Then they couldn't pick you again for another couple of years, whatever it was. And now that doesn't exist anymore. Now you go right back in the mix.
Is it worse to not want to go to jury duty, or is it worse to not vote?
Wow, that's a good question.
Which one is more of your responsibility as a citizen? I don't think David's a very good citizen.
They're both responsibilities of a citizen, but
Yeah.
one of them.
Wait a minute, I
one-
showed up.
Yeah, I show up too. I mean, I don't want to, but I do. So I think it's worse to not vote.
Yeah, I would say vote.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's vote. I think people died in wars for us to vote.
Yeah.
I suppose you could be about jury duty too, but anyway, but I was going on a trip and I just said, hey, can I get out? I was just surprised how quickly I got out of it, but then
Yeah.
I got selected again. So
Again.
I show up and so first thing that happens is you walk into this room and there must be like 1,000 chairs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you walk in and there might be 200 people. So you think, all right, there's lots of room for people to spread out. But little by little, more people come in. And I tell you, by the time 8:30 rolled around, because I probably got there at 7:45, if there are 1,000 chairs, there might have been 998 people there. Like this
Wow.
thing was full. But
Yeah.
what I
Oh my
can't
God.
believe, so the first thing I thought that was interesting is some people will sit down and they put their stuff in the chair next to them, right?
Yeah.
And then as the place is filling up, they don't move their stuff.
don't move it,
They
yeah.
wait for someone to say, is that
Of
seat taken?
course. Of
I want to
course.
walk up to them and like push that stuff off the chair. I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
So that's not my topic, but that was one of the things.
That's one way to get out of jury duty.
Yeah, that's
Look
true.
at that psycho.
Well, and the other thing I noticed too is that as I was spending the day in jury duty, I feel like I kind of know a relatively diverse, different set of people in St. Louis. Not true. Not true. In my bubble,
Yeah, I was
where
gonna take the
live,
under on
not
that.
true. Not until you do jury duty
That's
in
right.
downtown St.
That's
Louis.
right.
Now I got a sense of what St. Louis and what that was more about. So that was fine. That was all good. So anyway, so I got picked for a case, and so I walk into another courtroom, right,
Yep.
with the judge and the whole thing. They explain it all to you. And I wasn't one of the top 12. I wasn't
Yep.
one of the alternates. I'm some of these goofballs sit in the back, but they ask everybody questions. And so they'll ask you like, in fact, I did this twice now, and
Do you know who Bruce Sutter is?
the baseball pitcher.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Where's
That's
that
not
from?
what they ask you unless Bruce Sutter is a.
It's not a
is the
trivia
defendant.
contest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not trivia. Yeah, it's not trivia.
What is the circumference of the Earth? Oh
Yeah.
man. So anyway, so they start asking questions. A lot of them are like, do you feel like people sue each other too much? And so, and they'll say, they'll ask the most generic question. I'll just say this much. They said, how many of you have experience with people, family members or friends that have been in nursing homes? So I was like, oh, my grandpa was in a nursing home and I had nothing to do with the decision. So I'm not going to raise my paddle because like yes, my grandfather was in a nursing home, but that's like barely registered.
It's interpretation.
Yeah.
If there's 30 people in the room, 29 people put their paddle up, and one by one they ask each person, "What was your experience?" Well, my grandmother was in a nursing home. Were you part of the decision to send her there? No. I thought, oh come on, and 29 people answered these questions, and I thought this is ridiculous. Well, my topic is this. So we're going through these Q&A that's taken forever. There's a kid next to me who's probably in his 20s. I don't know. He got picked. He is very overweight. Very, very overweight.
Yeah.
And he keeps, he's got his phone. He keeps dropping it, and he can't reach it. And so you got to help him get his phone. Well, he starts to fall asleep.
What?
And he starts to fall asleep while the jury's going on. And not only does he fall asleep, but he starts to snore. And I mean loud. And so people around me are looking at him, and he's right next to me, and he's next to a wall.
God.
So I'm the only one next to him. There are people in front of him, behind him. But he starts to sleep. I mean, he's really sawing logs at this point. Like, he's loud.
Oh my God.
And so now the attorneys are starting to look back, and I'm waiting for the judge. I'm like, what's the judge going to do here? Is he son, this is a democracy. This only works if you do your duty. I was waiting to see, but
this isn't a kangaroo court.
So nothing happens other than people are looking at. Well, now people are starting to look at me, like do something.
Do something.
Why you're right next to him?
I'm right next to him. So
do something. You don't know this guy.
I don't know him at all, right? And I feel like that's not his.
That's your responsibility.
Again, you're a citizen. It's your responsibility. Of course it is.
No.
Well, okay. So I finally, everyone it's super uncomfortable now. So
you didn't do anything, Dave?
I did. So I pushed him on the shoulder. I pushed him on the shoulder.
Okay.
And he goes, "Oh, thanks." And so he wakes up. So and for a second I felt like, what a hero I am, right? Like I solved the problem.
You're quite the hero.
Everyone is innocent. Let's all go home.
Everyone's
I solved the case.
Woo!
Yeah, right. He did it.
Since Perry Mason has there been such a dramatic courtroom appearance.
Interesting. Josh wouldn't have done anything.
No, it's not my responsibility.
So you just sat next to him. Everyone was staring at you for the next God knows how many minutes.
You can stare at me all you want. I'm not the one who's.
So it gets so he wakes up.
Josh,
he promptly falls back. He falls back asleep. So now he's back asleep. And then
give me an idea, Dave, of weight. What is this guy? Three bills? 4 bills?
3.
3 bills. How tall?
5'2", 5'6". Like he was.
He's a big dude.
He's a ball. He's a ball of a man.
Yeah.
Wait. Was it the guy who sang that song "Crazy"?
It was Ruben Studdard.
Yeah. Is that his name?
No, I don't know who you're talking about.
Ruben Studdard would have been a good example.
Nigel, whatever his name is.
I don't know. You're throwing us off track. I don't know what the hell that.
I can't believe you came up with Ruben Studdard on the American Idol. That's season 2 or something. Anyway, so he falls back asleep. And then also the guy on my right falls asleep too. Now I'm in a row.
What?
With 4
They're
people.
both asleep?
Yeah, 2 out of the 4. There might be other people asleep in the courtroom, I think, but 2 are in my row and they're on either side of me. So, but the guy on my left starts snoring very loud again. So now I'm like, do I have to do this again? Like, I'm not doing it this time. Like I did it once. Now if I do it again, like now it's going to be on me all the time. And I want to see. I want the judge to step in.
Do you think this dude is doing it to get out of jury duty? Because that's a possibility too.
He might have, because they asked the judge or one of the attorneys asked, "Do you value your freedom?" or something like that, and he raised his paddle. He said, "I value my freedom. Like for now, like I've been picked for jury duty 3 times in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I want to be free to get out of jury duty." So he was actually, so he might have been faking because he was very upset. It's the only thing he said in the whole time. Well, anyway, so he falls asleep again. He's snoring again. So now what do I do?
By the way,
Do I-
my topic was so much better than this.
No, it wasn't.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
so what do I do
I'm gonna
now?
have to
Like, do
edit
I-
the shit out of your topic.
do I
Keep going, Dave.
So now do I wake him up again? Like now, then I feel like now I'm setting a precedent of now I'm now taking care of this kid, right? So what do you do? Would you wake him up, Omar?
No,
I know,
no, I
I
wouldn't touch
I
him.
would 1000% wake him up.
No.
1000%. No,
No.
it is an affront. It is an affront to everything that I stand for. I view it as a responsibility and actually an honor. I would love to do it
An
Easily.
honor.
easily. Yeah, because people rely on me. I get to show value to people. How often do you get that chance, but Josh?
What value
How
are
often
you
do
showing? You tap the guy
value
on
to
his shoulder.
society. Value
You
to society.
tap the guy on his shoulder. That's value.
Yes.
First of all,
if it's disrupting an entire room, of course it's value.
It's not your courtroom. If the judge feels it's disruptive, the judge will take care of it.
If
Well,
I
that's
can
what I
help out the
wanted.
judge, then I want to do that too. That's just me, Josh.
He wants-
That's just me.
We're
But-
cut from a different cloth.
Yeah,
So-
I was on an elevator the other day, and a woman kept on talking on her phone, and it was me and a second woman, so three of us in the elevator.
And you said
And I'm
something
like,
to
I
her?
looked at the woman. I'm like, really? She's like, "Do you want to?" I'm like, and I said, "Excuse me." I'm like, "I'm sorry. Hi. Who are you talking to?" She goes,
What?
What?
Jeez.
I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Well, I know that, but that's kind of my point. Is we don't know this person, and we don't want to hear your conversation."
But you're
Can you
not in a
maybe
lot.
just-
You're not in a library. You're in an elevator.
Yeah, but my point is, it's equally as bad, if not worse, what this guy was doing. And David saved the day.
Yeah, I
Well-
can't disagree more.
This
By
is
the way,
what I
this
did.
is the end of Seinfeld, right? The season finale, they all end up in jail. Josh,
Yeah.
you're in jail
Josh,
too.
yeah,
You're
I think-
not a good Samaritan.
Your
What are you
life
talking
values
about?
seem to
You're an
be
indifferent
defined by
Samaritan.
Seinfeld.
You're an indifferent Samaritan.
I'm not indifferent at all. I think what he's doing is awful, but it's not my responsibility to wake his fat ass up.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
that
what they said. By the way, that's what they said when Hitler started.
No, it's not what they said when
Yeah.
Hitler. It's not the least bit what they said when
Well,
Hitler
didn't Seinfeld get arrested for not helping someone on the
Exactly.
sidewalk?
That
different.
was the season finale.
That is
Yeah.
that is so different. What
You're an
happened in the
indifferent
season
Samaritan.
finale was it was an affront to another person. That is
Well-
very different.
It's in the front of multiple people. In
But
the
it's
hall.
the
of-
ju-
in the
it's not
Hall
your
of Justice.
courtroom.
The
It's not
Hall
your
of
courtroom.
Justice.
All right. Well, let me tell you what I did. So
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
I tapped her on the
Give him a
shoulder
shot
again.
in the solar plexus.
No, I woke him again, and I said,
Yeah.
"Dude, this is the last time I'm doing this."
Now you're picking a
I
fight
said-
with him.
I
He
said,
probably
I
has
said, "Last time I'm doing this."
diabetes.
or narcolepsy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have felt bad if he had narcolepsy.
What did he say?
Blood sugar's low.
He got super embarrassed. He stayed awake the rest of the time. He got like red faced, and now I'm looking at him like, oh geez, like now he feels embarrassed about it, and so, but he stayed awake, and the lady in front of me looked behind me gave me a look like, huh, like just not like
Those
she's
are great
impressed or she's
moments.
just like
Did you feel like a
she
hero,
was like,
Dave?
huh, I
All right.
well I
Yeah.
Look, you have to when someone falls asleep like that in a moment like I embrace that moment. I love it because I like disruption and chaos a little bit, not a lot, a
God.
little bit. And so I want to
kind
see.
of wanted to see the judge.
Yeah, you
take
want to see
control.
what happens,
Right.
and you want to see like it's not my responsibility to wake his ass up. It's not my courtroom.
By the way,
In fact, you're told to sit there and be quiet until seriously
Listen,
until
such a rule
until
follower.
someone asks you a question.
Josh, you're right. In this scenario, the way it played out, it was probably a little bit more tempered than it perhaps could have gone, perhaps. But there's also a scenario where Dave has another type of interaction with this guy or the courtroom. That in itself would be a great story. But it didn't like.
What did you
I'm
think was
surprised-
going to happen? They were going to give you the key to the city because you woke up a fat guy?
Maybe some people give him some applause.
Yeah.
For
Listen,
saying
listen,
something. Like
I-
I would.
I got a huh.
I just
Those are
talked
the
to my
best moments when the weird shit happens. I
Okay.
fucking love it.
So do I.
Love it.
So that's my point, though. You have to let it play out. Like I just talked to my parents the other day. My mother had to go to the emergency room. She's fine, by the way, but she had to go to the emergency room. She's in the emergency room. It's late at night. It's like 3 a.m.
She watched Avatar 2.
No,
She
no,
was
no, no.
dehydrated at the end.
And she's there with my
So
dad.
long.
She's they bring her back and she goes across. She's telling me the story across the way in the emergency area where they bring people back that are waiting to be seen. There's a dude that they have handcuffed to the bed. He's clearly a criminal of some sort because the cops are with him. And she's telling me, she's going, "Oh my God, I'm watching this. This guy is handcuffed to the bed. They're clearly something's wrong with him. They're trying to take care of him, and the cops are there because he must be a criminal. They must have just arrested him or whatever, and he needed to have some sort of care done before they're going to bring him to the station or book him. And I just wanted to get the hell out of there. And I told Dad, I'm like, we got to get out of here. I want to go." And I went, "Mom, why would you want to go? That life is not. That's exciting. And by the way, there's 2 cops there. Nothing's going to happen. He's handcuffed to the bed. Just watch it play out. This is not something you see every day. I would love for that to happen. Wouldn't
You
it be
wanted your
great?"
brother to stay in the ER.
But
No, I
Josh,
don't. You know what I
you're
mean.
missing.
Yeah.
It's the story's even better if you're involved in the story. And David had an opportunity to be involved in the story.
Yeah, but
so it could have gotten even
but
more.
but he ruined
know?
the story. We don't know how the story would have played out had he not woke this dude up.
I would have gotten some FaceTime with the judge at some point. Dave, you didn't play that right, apparently.
Well, the
FaceTime
problem
with
was
the
people were looking at me like they were mad at me, and I felt like this is getting uncomfortable. I can't concentrate. People are all like somehow it's on my problem because they
not
want
your
me to.
problem.
They wanted to push. They wanted me to push him, and I did. And then when I did, they didn't give me anything. No applause, nothing.
Yeah,
Other than
That's
this
it, huh?
woman
You're not
looking at
getting
us
for
going,
that.
huh.
You
Well,
didn't
if it took you a while to do it, I would have been annoyed with you. So maybe not the applause, but maybe I would have.
Can I
Uh,
ask
Well, I
you
wasn't
this?
gonna as soon as he nodded his once, I was gonna smack him on the back of the head.
That would have been something.
Preemptive, yeah.
That would have been.
Listen,
something.
if you fall asleep, I swear I'm gonna smack you so hard. I
would have liked to see how that played out.
Yeah.
David, you are a good Samaritan. Josh is
I'm
an
a-
indifferent one.
I'm an
It's
American.
very clear.
I'm a
Just
good-
American.
Let me ask
Yep.
you this. The last time I went and had jury duty, one of the questions they asked everyone in the voir dire, by the way, that's what you were going through when they brought you back to see who the actual jurors would be. One of the things they asked everyone that blew my mind, I don't know if they asked your group that, but they asked, does anyone here have a criminal record? And I swear 80% of the hands went up. And I went, oh my God. Do this many people have criminal records?
Did they didn't ask him what.
They
obviously,
did. They started to ask some of them what your criminal record is, and then
I'm surprised.
Do you trust someone less if they have a record?
well, first of all, it
Yes,
depends.
I think yes.
The,
by
the
definition,
short
yes.
answer is
They've
yes,
already-
but you shouldn't. You shouldn't. It depends what the.
You know, actually, it's funny. Josh, I never told you this story. I dated a girl once who lived in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And we went out a few times, and she was fantastic. And then she told me on our second date that she spent time in the slammer.
Oh,
For what?
Yeah, and I couldn't get over it. I'm like, I can't date an ex-con. I just can't do it.
but did
What
you
was
ask for
it?
what? Oh, no, going to prison.
It was
is tough.
something
That's a
involving like her
Murder.
ex claimed that she did something to him. I don't remember.
yeah, of course
But
she's
she was in
innocent.
jail.
She's innocent.
She was in jail for like.
Yeah, it's got to be more
2
than just
years.
claimed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't.
Yeah,
Could you date an ex-con?
No, that'd be very, very difficult.
Plus,
for me
that's
to-
that's a
for me to
really
do.
bad red flag.
So
that
maybe
she's in
I'm
jail
like-
for something she did
Maybe
for
I'm a
prison.
hypocrite, because I should be. If I'm all about like you are who you are today, not in the past, and
That's
whatever
true, and you
bullshit.
served your time. You paid your due to
Yeah.
society. But
Yeah.
no,
So
I couldn't
maybe should
believe
date
how
an
many
ex-
people.
There's websites around that shit. There probably is, right?
Yeah, there's
don't know.
website for everything.
There's
Yeah.
a website.
Ex-con websites.
So Dave, they didn't ask that your group that whether anyone had a criminal record.
No, I don't.
It was
know.
astounding. I couldn't
Nope.
believe it. I
Did
went,
not-
this is a sample size of a population. I went, oh my God, that was crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't been surprised, but
Yeah.
it was interesting day. And at the end of the day, I ended up not getting picked, and as I left, I was
Yeah.
disappointed because even though I didn't want to stay, the act of not being picked for something is at the root of it. and I
Yeah,
think it's
there's-
disappointing. I was like, "What do you mean? My answers were great." Like,
Isn't that weird?
it
You
is.
want to be picked, but at the same time you don't.
That's exactly. I walked out. I
yeah.
was a little sad. I'm like, "What am I doing? I don't want to be here." And yet, I was like, "Oh."
I was the foreman. I got picked for the only time I've ever actually gotten picked that I've been called for jury
Oh,
duty.
I think I remember this.
Yeah, it was last time, and I was actually the foreman.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Was it a good case?
It was a great case because it was open and shut. It was easy as it gets, and the guy defended himself, and he really should not have. He was completely, this guy was a moron, and he defended himself. He was his own attorney, and it was just comical.
Yeah.
It was comical. It was so comical that when we went back to deliberate, I said, okay, does anyone, I said, why don't we start with taking a vote first before we get into discussion? and we took a vote. It was guilty for everybody. And I went, does anyone think this was ridiculous? Everyone goes, yeah, this was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean,
That's funny.
it was so stupid. And it was great. We were in and out of there in half a day. Even the judge came back and goes, well, that was the easiest case you'll ever get.
Yeah. So he knew it too. Oh yeah.
That's fun.
Oh yeah.
All right,
great.
Josh, what's your topic?
Yeah. So so I'll take you back. So New Year's Eve, we kind of talked about this. My kids were out, and so my wife and I decided we'd have a nice a night to ourselves. And we said, you know what? We thought about going out to a restaurant. Like, let's bring in food. And we were in comfy clothes, and I didn't feel like getting.
What does bring in food mean? Like make food in the kitchen and bring it upstairs?
No, bring in food means you go to a restaurant, get it, and bring
Like
it back.
It's called pickup. Bring in.
Yeah.
What is it's like the break? It's like the Waltons. Like bring in food. Who talks like this? It's called pickup. You go to a restaurant, you pick up the food. It's
Pick
not
up food.
bring in
Is that what you want to hear?
pickup? You order for pickup on
Listen,
the app. It says delivery or pickup.
You know what I meant.
In.
You knew what I meant.
Nobody uses that phrase. Have
That's
you
not true.
heard that phrase,
DoorDash.
Bring in.
DoorDash. You can choose.
Oh, I knew what he meant.
DoorDash. You can choose. Bring in food, or we bring it to you. Those are the two check marks. There's no delivery. It says we bring it to you.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
That's not what it says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick up and delivery.
It says pickup. It says pickup. Bring in food.
Anyway. So I said, my wife goes, okay, where should we go to get food? And I said, oh, how about, and I named a restaurant. And she said, nah, I don't want to go there. That's a chain.
See, this is what you're already off.
What do you mean?
Because
off?
if
What am I
you're
off?
gonna do delivery or bring in, as you put it, or pick up,
Yeah.
what that gives you, it gives you freedom, Josh. Which
Yes,
as a
it
married
does. That's my.
person, you don't
Okay.
have.
Okay.
You can pick multiple
All right.
restaurants.
All
and
right.
pick up from
Now
both.
let's get to the crux of Let's get to the crux because you're hitting it square on the head, my friend. Right on the head. So I said, first of all, it was an upper end chain restaurant. It wasn't friggin' Chili's.
Olive Garden.
Houston.
Yes, it wasn't as good as Olive Garden, but
Okay.
Wait.
that's
What is
old
an
country.
upper level chain? What does that even mean?
you know what I
Like,
mean.
So
Ruth's
there's
Chris?
Taco
plenty-
Bell.
Wait,
there's-
what is upper level?
You got you got fast food, fast casual, then you got restaurant chain.
Cheesecake Factory?
and
Like
then
what?
ups-
Like what's that? What
Yeah,
level is that?
Cheesecake
That's like-
Factory, I think, is like a 6 or 7 out of 10 as far as.
So
Was it
what's upper
Cheesecake
level?
Factory?
Like Ruth
It
Chris?
wasn't the Cheesecake Factory, no.
But that they would be equivalent to Cheesecake
It was
Factory.
it was Bonefish Grill. You ever been to Bonefish? Do you guys have
No.
one around you?
Is that a chain?
Yeah, that's a chain.
Yeah. That's
Bone
an,
First
okay.
Grill. Okay.
Now listen, Bonefish Grill is good. I like it. It's good food. And so I said, yeah, but it's good food. And she said, yeah. She goes, but I don't really want a chain restaurant. I said, okay, so look, here's my problem here. All right. Here's my problem.
I can just see this.
Yeah, my problem is that not the chain restaurants start off as individual restaurants. They are so nothing starts as a chain restaurant.
The
They don't
food
just
doesn't
go-
know it's a chain.
Yeah, they don't go, we're going to make 30 Bonefish Grills right now. They go, we make one. And the reason it becomes a chain restaurant is because it's so goddamn good that
Why does
people,
your wife stay with you? I have no idea.
for my
this-
logic and reasoning.
I could just see.
Listen,
All she wanted to do was probably have a nice restaurant. She wanted to go up one step, and you broke down with the
look,
ridiculousness
you
of
only
a
have,
chain.
first of all, you only have so many options. We were doing it later than we probably should have. We always do this. We should have planned for dinner earlier than we did. And at that point now, you're like, you don't want to wait 2 hours to go get your meal.
Mm-mm.
So there's only so many options where you can go get it within a reasonable amount of time, where you're not going to be starving and craving food. But this is my point. My point is, why do we care about all this stuff other than just, is it good? Do I like the food? Because she said, like, we ended up going to a different place, which was not a chain, of course, and it was good. But we got, like, they made on the menu, it's like, oh, they have homemade creme brulee. And I'm like, well, I don't give a shit that it's homemade. I really don't care. I don't understand the whole homemade thing versus, don't we go to restaurants because restaurants are better? Like, I always think
it really is a misnomer. It's
a
not
big
homemade.
misnomer,
it's
right?
made at a restaurant, right?
And even if it's made at a restaurant, I don't care what makes it. I don't care if it's 85 10-year-old orphans who don't have arms and they're making it with their feet.
Hey.
All I
come on.
care about
Not
is what it
necessary.
tastes like. That's all I care about. If it
Yeah.
tastes good, I don't care if a machine
But
made
maybe
it.
when she said she didn't want to chain, is that because there's not a particular dish she's not in love with at this place?
No,
Is
no,
it,
no.
is it,
Well,
is it
look,
another way of her for saying that she no longer loves you?
That's exactly what she's saying. And she needs something.
it's
She
very
wants to
possible.
spend money on her.
Is that-
That's right.
It's
Yeah,
very
she
possible.
can't. There's no longer any pizzazz in the marriage. She at least wants an expensive meal.
That's very, very possible. Yeah. But that's my point is, why do we keep qualifying all these things? Like handmade, this furniture is handmade. I don't care that it's handmade. In fact, I prefer it's not handmade.
care.
Quite honestly.
I
I don't
care.
want it handmade, because handmade means there's some guy who's hammering the nails in, and maybe he had a shitty morning that morning, and maybe he was up too late, and maybe now he's taking shortcuts on my furniture. When it's machine made, at least I know it's done in the same exact fashion as everything prior to it.
There's plenty of things that are machine made that are made
True.
less well.
That's right. That's exactly right.
I
But what I'm
don't know where you're buying your handmade furniture. What is it like? Like downtown, Philadelphia.
From the
Handmade
Amish.
furniture
The
is
Amish.
like-
No, he lives out-
Dave's
yeah.
got it. Dave's got it. The Amish. The
He lives in
Amish make
Philadelphia.
handmade furniture. I'm like, I don't care that it's handmade. I don't care that it's homemade food, and I don't care that it's handmade furniture. I don't care. None of that means anything to me. I just want to know, is the furniture good? Is it comfortable? Will it hold up? Is the food good? Don't care how it's made. Okay,
Well,
let me throw that out. Am I wrong?
I know exactly where she's going. She didn't.
Okay.
It didn't matter about the quality of food. She wanted a special dinner, and she wanted it to be expensive. I think
Which we got. Which we
Yeah.
ended up getting.
I don't
Have
think.
you went to
I don't.
Bonefish
I
Grill?
don't. I don't
What's that?
think. she
No, we
loves
didn't go to
him.
Bonefish.
I don't
We
think
went
she
to a
loves him
different
anymore.
Well,
That's what I think. It's
This
clear.
is what married couples do. That's right. It's you gotta.
Wait,
We had a
Josh,
lovely
what's
evening.
the
We had a
question?
lovely
Are you
evening.
asking? Are you saying? Do we agree with you on this?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, do you guys do you have like this negative stigma on chain restaurants? Number one, and number two, do you go gaga over when something is a homemade dish, and do you handmade stuff? For some reason, people they flock to that stuff, and they love it. They're like, oh, this is homemade. I don't care about that. That means
Yeah.
nothing to me.
Yeah, I'm
Nothing.
with you.
You
I
with me?
always.
Yeah.
I'd rather.
There we
support the
go.
local. I'd rather support the local people, and I don't have any.
I didn't
favorite
say
dishes from
local.
chain-
I didn't say not local. By the way,
But
the
chain-
people who work at Bonefish are local people. They have
They're
jobs.
all people. Yes.
They're
Okay.
people. If
Okay.
you don't go to
I don't
Bonefish,
know
they're out of a
you're-
job.
If Bonefish is nicer than TGI, with a TGI Fridays or
It's much
like
nicer. Yes,
TF
it's mu-
Chang's,
It's
there's
it's
not a or Cheesecake Factory. There's not a dish I love. There just isn't. There's
okay.
not.
Listen, can we talk to someone who's in the normal state of the world that eats at these restaurants and doesn't eat a carbone every
Yeah.
Wednesday and Thursday night?
No,
I want
but-
people who go to the Regal Beagle to talk to right
But
now.
you're
It's
saying
not-
this
wait.
place is nice. You're saying this place is
It
actually
is.
nice.
It's a nicer chain restaurant. Let's put it
Oh,
that way.
Omar, you got takeout when we were having the podcast. You got it from was it Ruth Chris or
There you
what
go.
was-
Ruth Chris is a chain. It's a chain
Yep.
restaurant.
And but Bonefish Grill is a step down from Ruth Chris, though. That's
Yes, but it's above TGI Fridays and Olive Garden.
yeah,
and
it's
Chili's
somewhere in
and
the
all
middle
that
there.
shit.
I wonder if
Yeah.
you would have gone to
Do
Ruth
you
Chris.
do you tip the waiters, Josh, in pound cake, or do you give them cash?
Let me.
Like,
this is
that
this
was
is
your customary
this
way of
is-
tipping
this
people
is
when they
another
come to your
problem.
house.
This is another problem I have, and it's for another podcast. But I was at the Eagles game yesterday, and I went out to the kiosk to get a soft pretzel, and to pay in Apple Pay, they turned the screen around, and then it wants to know tip 10, 15%, 30%, 40% on a soft pretzel. You did nothing. You did nothing. You reached
put
in,
zero?
got the pretzel, and gave it to me. I did do zero because this was my third purchase of the game, and I had tipped the first two, and I went, this is getting ridiculous. They're already
They
charging me.
defaulted to 20, 30, and 40%.
No, that's what it has on the screen. It says 15, 20, 30, and 40 or something like that. There's like 4 buttons you can push for the tip before you hit your Apple Pay. And I went,
Yeah.
this is getting out of hand. They're already charging me $15 for a pretzel.
Well, Omar's ruining it for the rest of us. He's
Yeah,
tipping
Omar's
like
killing it.
1,000% on
Yeah,
everything.
most people can't do this. I can't keep giving $4 a tip for someone to reach in and grab a pretzel and hand it to me. That's not tip worthy.
Yeah.
Am I
Well,
wrong about that?
Aren't there sometimes those concession stands that are run by charities though?
If it is, it doesn't say it.
Yeah. I wonder
Yeah.
if they are. Sometimes I
Listen,
think they are.
If it's run by charity, they do a horrible job marketing because there's nothing there that tells you that.
Hey, can I go one further on your
Yeah.
homemade versus
Thank you.
restaurant made?
Please.
Uh,
I don't hear much comment on that.
I actually I don't I'm with you. I don't mind.
There we
but
go.
what I do mind is I would much rather get food from a restaurant than if we were like having a potluck at our house.
Yes.
And people make food at their house.
Yes.
I don't want that.
Yes.
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 I don't
yes,
want
yes,
homemade food.
Yes.
I think it's because
Well,
I don't know
remember
what.
that was my first topic.
Thank
about
you.
My friend Ariel, like not being able to cook very well.
Yeah, but that's different. That's
He
someone.
said her
who's-
name. I don't think you said her name.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I
some.
didn't.
No, you didn't.
Oh.
You just outed her as a bad cook. That's someone who is a.
Oh, I love her.
But that's someone who's a bad cook. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Even someone who's a good cook. Yeah, a homemade dinner is like everyone goes, "Oh, finally a homemade dinner." I'm like, I'll take a restaurant, 8 times out of 10 over. I mean, look, my wife's a good cook. I like what she makes, but it's a restaurant is a restaurant for a reason. They make
Yeah.
really good food.
Well, I want the commercialization, and I want the fake overlay of regulation that a restaurant brings. Someone could still spit in the food, but I
Yeah.
feel like if it's made at
I
someone's
like the
house.
desserts.
Okay.
Hey, just
You
saying
like
stuff
homemade desserts?
randomly?
Like, no, tonight I'm taking my nephew to dinner with his girlfriend, and I got to do it because he's visiting.
Yeah.
And I'd rather stay in bed right now and eat some Heath bars and watch some more TV. But I'm gonna go to the restaurant, and I'm not hungry, but I'm gonna go get desserts.
But that's a restaurant. Well, I'm saying
Yeah,
I don't like
that-
people making the food at their own house and bringing it.
Yes.
I remember when I was
I'm
in
with
high
you.
school, we had a potluck and someone made something and everyone got sick. And I was like, I'm never again. I'm never again. And everyone knew what family it was because they were.
Yeah, but that can happen
Would,
at a restaurant. I'll go against myself here. That can happen. I've gotten
Yeah.
food poisoning. from
I don't
restaurants.
like potlucks.
Josh, you get food poisoning at least once a year. It feels like.
That's true. I do get my annual case of food poisoning. That is
Yeah.
absolutely true. But have you ever said the words, as I've never have you ever said the words, boy, I could really go for a homemade meal? I've never said those words.
a meal at home.
That's different. I mean, you know how people, the essence of a homemade meal, how people go, oh, a homemade meal. Like even
Yeah.
restaurants advertise, like this is homemade.
Josh, I don't.
Like,
There's a restaurant where I live in Puerto Rico that's in someone's house, and it's amazing.
yeah,
I
because
love
they're
it.
amazing cook, and it doesn't matter that it's in the house. They could have done that same exact dish in a restaurant. It's
They're
still
a
a
chef.
restaurant. Just because it's
Yeah.
in a house, it's still a restaurant.
Yeah,
It's a
I think,
restaurant.
I like
That's fair.
I like to have meals at home, but that's the
Yeah.
atmosphere. It's the comfort. It's all that. It's the quality of. Well, of course, my wife's cooking is amazing. So
Of
if
course,
it's
of
homemade
course.
from
Yeah,
my
of course.
wife, that's
Then
different.
it's
But
no-brainer.
yeah, I like if I could have. I think I'd more rather say the phrase. I could really go for Ruth Chris steak. I think I'd rather do that. That's
Yes,
more common.
yes. This is the reason why Ruth Chris became a chain. They made really good steak.
Yeah.
Don't knock chain restaurants. I don't
Well,
like when there's no reason to knock a chain restaurant. There's a reason it became a chain restaurant. Because the first one was really good. Then he said, we should make more of these. Ta-da.
Some
Omar?
chains.
Yeah, but again, Josh, that's fine. But do you have a dish at these chain restaurants that you absolutely love?
Yeah, there's some that I do, but that's not the point. The point is Bonefish has good seafood. So I
Yeah,
just
but that is the
thought
point.
it would be
Because
great
if
to go
there's
get seafood.
when you're a solo Bonefish Grill restaurant and you have one place,
Yeah.
you have dishes that are amazing and
Yeah,
or
and-
are great. And as you grow, in order to be able to, certain dishes don't scale well if you do a franchise model. So
What do you
they're-
mean scale?
my point is there's certain dishes that are more difficult to make, and not you have
Yes.
to make that you have to create dishes that people can make in different locations.
Yes,
So I'm
that's
sure
right.
The menu
That's right.
today of Bonefish Grill is very different than it was, initially when it
It
first
could
launched.
be. It
David,
could be.
you agree?
That's
It's possible. Yeah.
it's the only argument you can make. You have no proof that it is, but it's the only possible argument that you can make. But in other words, let's say this: you love Carbone, right? Right?
I love one dish there and a lot.
Right.
And
Let's
two dishes,
say-
second dish is
Let's
okay.
say they started a Carbone in Vegas, like they did with Nobu.
There is one
everyone-
in Vegas.
Everyone, there you go. That's my point. Are you not
No,
going
but
to go
but
there?
that one has maintained a level of excellence.
Okay, but that's the
But
quality.
I mean,
That's
the
quality
food's not-
control.
It's more about there's two
The-
dishes. There's the mozzarella with prosciutto, which is they make the mozzarella in-house. It's incredible. It's still warm when you get it on the plate. It's crack. And then obviously there's spicy rigatoni. Is
Spicy rigatoni.
Okay. Very
So
good.
look, as
Josh
long-
did not have because he has a very thin stomach lining.
Delicate disposition.
yes, delicate. Yes, delicate internal system.
Well, I
but
will
anyway,
say though,
yeah.
you live in Philly. There's like some tremendous fish
We have
restaurants.
we have
there, right?
amazing restaurants in
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Why would
Absolutely
you pick
amazing
Bonefish
restaurants.
Grill? I kind of now I'm starting to see maybe I'm siding with your wife on this.
But don't
Well,
forget, we had to go pick it up. I'm not going to go into the city to get a. It would take me
Yeah.
forever. It's
you
it's
don't
a
have any bookbinders or any whatever they call
hey
it.
bookbinders, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
But like, it's no different to me. Like, there's a very famous chef in Philadelphia named Mark Vetri, and he's renowned. And his restaurant, I've been to 2 of them, and they're amazing, absolutely amazing. But there's no difference than him. Oh, he owns like 5 or 6 restaurants, right? Why is that not a chain? It's just because it has different name and different menu, but it's still the same dude that runs all of them, that set the standard for all of them.
Your wife wanted to be wowed. She wanted something special.
she didn't.
It was a special night, New Year's Eve, just the 2 of you. It was not a Bonefish Grill night. It was a.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think
We did. We had a good meal. Although I will say they kind of gypped us on the creme brulee. It came up very short.
So it was crap.
Well, look.
Oh
you know
no,
what
you went to the other place. Oh,
no. At the place we went
should
to.
have gone to Bonefish. Yeah.
What's amazing, you get creme brulee in a restaurant, and it comes in that very shallow glass dish, and it has that skin on it, and you're like, oh, that's really good. But when you get it pickup, they throw it into a friggin' plastic thing, and it looks like there's nothing in it. I'm like, I paid how much for this, for like 2 spoonfuls? But it's probably the same amount that goes in that glass dish. It's just the presentation.
Creme brulee doesn't travel. You should.
No, it did not travel well
doesn't.
at all. It did not travel well at all. That was a major
go
mistake.
with the cookies. Yeah. That's like if you got ice cream, like, oh, the ice cream was all melted by the time I got to my house.
It's not quite like ice cream, but yes, you're right.
All right.
Anyway, that's my point.
Well, this is what season 2 is going to be like. It's going to
I
be
actually have. Can we try something? Actually, I was going to talk to you guys about this, but I'm
We're running short on time. Go ahead.
No, I think that. Well, maybe we can do it next time then, where like we can have like where like I bring something up, we can talk about it.
Yeah, that's what we do every episode.
No. I mean,
You
like,
bring something up and we talk about
or
it.
saying that I read, and then we could talk about it.
You've done 35 of these episodes, 36 now, Omar. You know how it works. You can bring up whatever the hell you want. You did it today. You brought up a complete landmine, and we all stepped in it. So it doesn't matter. You have complete autonomy to bring up whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Next time.
Oh man.
Next
yes.
time. Yes.
Omar's got to go to a restaurant.
Roll me once, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. All right, everyone. Well, we're glad you're back with season 2. We look forward to 365. No, I guess 52 episodes.
Probably. We'll take a couple weeks off. Yeah.
All right. That's
40s.
All right. Well, happy New Year, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the episode.
Happy
See you later,
New Year,
everybody.
See
See
ya
you later.